You have 10 seconds to absolutely bomb your job interview. How do you do it? Finally one I can answer. Asian parents made me do an interview for some job I didn't want. So I just showed up and started having lunch in the room. Lasted about 5 seconds before being asked to leave. Is this a picture of your daughter? Can I keep it? Interviewer, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Peter Griffin. Say doing your wife. Saying doing your wife doing your son. Instead of a handshake going for an open mouth kiss. Always wanted to do this. Take off your shoe and sock and start clipping your toenails. Then eat them and offer the interviewer some. Loud corn blasting from your pocketed phone speaker. Act like you can't hear it. Insist that you can't hear anything. Does this place have cameras? If so, how many and where? I forgot to check. Is this building within 500 feet of a school? Grab the interviewer's coffee cup and take a drink. Proceed to then grab your resume in front of them and skim it while humming to yourself judgmentally. They are now the interviewee. You're a terrible candidate for the role I need. But I'm doing the interview. I'm sorry sir, you're just going to have to leave. Security. Can you escort this man to his car? Walk in shaking and scratching my face. Immediately ask if they pay in cash. Tell them I'll only work for the double the pay at half the hours. Win-win situation. You either bomb the interview or get great pay and half the hours of everyone else. Worked at a job where a guy started in the same position as me just a month earlier. Really low on the totem pole type position. This guy ducked the dog a lot. Got nothing done. Pretty sure he was also selling drugs on the side. Then after a few months, he asks my supervisor if he could have an assistant. She was floored. She says I don't even have an assistant and he was like, so is that a no? Funny thing was, she was trying to decide if she should fire this a-hole. After that, she started to get the ball rolling on that. She had to get it approved by the manager, and I think the owner, and they had to discuss about finding a replacement. While that was going on, he put in his 2 weeks and found another job doing the same thing. Repay at everit high ng thesane amosi k1. Tell them my goal is to replace them. Answer the question where do you see yourself in 5 years by answering I'll be too valuable to this organization for them to waste my time on recruiting the new employees. Sorry if my nose bleeds. I just did a line that was bigger than it looked. I like competing company better but they wouldn't hire me. Do you at least pay well? Will my boss be female? I don't particularly care to have a woman telling me what to do. Yeah, can I speak to the man in charge, sweetie? Can I get the manager? Emphasis on the man. Forget your own age. It's how I bombed my first one. I had just turned 18. For some reason my dumbass said 16, no 18. I could tell they didn't believe anything I said after that. Scream. Answer all of the questions perfectly, shake their hands firmly, reiterate your interest in the job, and just throw back your head and scream. The loudest, highest scream of your life. After you have completed this, clear your throat loudly. Then you really have to go in for the kill, reach across the table and shake their hand once more, smiling as if nothing happened. Tell them to have a nice day knowing that you have called into question all aspects of their life. To be said to interviewer, sweetie, can you grab me a coffee pronto? I didn't know ugly people worked here, but good for you for getting a managerial position. Regardless of their race, refer to the interviewer as the N-word as much as possible. Place some C4 and then leave quickly. Accidentally insult the interviewer's profession. I'm so glad this position is for it and not something worthless like HR. Wait for an important question to start being asked and, in the middle of the interviewer's sentence, hold up a finger as an indication that the interview should pause his sentence. Lift up one butt cheek from the chair and let out the juiciest, rankest fart of all time while maintaining eye contact with the interviewer and then say, I finished your sentence for you. On a scale from 1-10, How hot is her daughter? Newly single, not looking for anything serious, but I absolutely cannot date any uglies if she looks like you, though, I'm not interested. Just so you know, I killed like 3 people last year, but don't worry, it was for this cult thing in Mexico and that's in the past now. Now, I don't think we should drag politics into this, and I don't really agree with everything Hitler said, but all it takes is 7 words. Do you know who my father is? In an interview for a hospital, if they ask a medical related question, start singing, humming the hip bones connected to the thigh bone frantically. In an interview for an accounting firm, imply that a chimpanzee with a calculator could do the job, so you're perfectly qualified. Ask how firm the sexual harassment policy is. Ask the interviewer if he's cool when asked to do a drug test, and imply that you need some clean urine and are willing to pay. Tell me about a time you disagreed with a coworker, and how did you resolve it? Well, Sally would always complain about my ideas and was in a bad mood. I think she was on her period, so I just bought some ice cream and let the red tide rain in. Truth story. Off topic but somewhat related. I went in to interview for a sales job in the technology field. The hiring manager said, "You have 5 minutes to piss me off." I wasn't sure if he was implying that my interview will suck, or to literally piss him off. I stood up, extended my arm and put it at the end of his desk. I looked him square in the eye and moved my arm from one end to the other, knocking over keyboards and family photos and jars of shit. He simply said, "You're hired and get the duck out of my office." This was about 15 years ago and I still work here. Oh, I did it. I walked into a place and hated it immediately, but didn't have the balls to walk out when the interviewer asked if I'd read the info she sent me. I lied and said that I hadn't, saw it in her eyes that I wouldn't be getting a call back. Does your workplace weapons policy include full auto? Either you bomb the interview or find yourself in a very interesting job environment. Shit your pants and say, "Gee, this sure happens a lot." For an added plus, ask the interviewer how much their daughter costs. What's your biggest flaw? My honesty. I don't think that's a flaw. I don't give a duck what you think. For real though, saying you have no idea what the company does is a definite sorry, the position has been filled. I had a terrible headhunter send me into an interview with all the details I needed in terms of company info etc. with an hour's notice. Just threw it on me one afternoon. "Hey, are you in the city now?" I go in and they ask me what I knew. Spoke with confidence for about 5 minutes based on the notes they'd prepared. I'm good at talking on the fly. And they go, "I think you have us mistaken. They gave me notes for the wrong fucking company and I didn't do my own research to verify due to the time frame." Needless to say, I didn't get the job. I didn't use that headhunter again either. Bombed an interview audition at a prestigious music college. When they asked why I preferred voice over piano, my dumbass said, "Because I'm not good at it." I'm gonna need X dates off for my rape trial. They are saying I'm going to prison, but that kid was practically begging me to do him her. What's it matter if he's only 11? I did a technical interview for a pretty smart engineer who aced his other technical interviews that morning. In the lunch interview, the guy asked if there were a lot of Jews at the company because he was curious if they had horns. So that way. I get why they do it, but for me it's always a problem when they go out of their way to tell you how much you need to hire them because your company sucks so much. It's nice to hear something more along the lines of, "This seems like a great place to be and I want to help you make it better." Simple. When they extend their hand for you to shake, make a disgusted face and only grasp the tip of their finger. Proceed to shake weakly. I'm a convicted pedophile. I didn't put it down on my paper because I knew you wouldn't interview me if I had that on my resume. Reach into my pants to start scratching my crotch. Remove my hand and visibly smell it, then proceed to offer a handshake. If I get hired after that, they're probably pretty chill. This actually happened to me. Came into interview, sat down, noticed my hand is bleeding and the first thing I said is, "I don't know why, but I'm bleeding. Got any tissues?" Still got the job. The butterflies are eating my flesh, starting to cry, screeching this. Then whispering loudly while rocking back and forth, curled up in a human meatball, repeating, I just want all of the laughing children to go away. Suddenly, just stand up and walk away slowly while making ducks sounds.